Hello, welcome to video number 2 for Leading Christian Communities in Mission for the fall 2017. I'm Terry Elton, and this video is going to go over the syllabus and walk you through kind of how the layout of the course goes over our time together. So with that, please get out your syllabus, and I'm going to share my screen with you so we can walk through these pieces together. If you look here, it has basic information. If you want to get a hold of me, here's my information, my office. Best if you want to stop by to let me know ahead of time, email me, and that might be the easiest way, but I'm in Northwestern. And that's the email or phone number there to get a hold of me. This course deals with the complex realities that Christian communities are facing right now. As we are in a missional age, a time when religious pluralism is rapid, when secularization is huge, when globalization is changing the face of things, what does it mean to lead and form Christian communities? That's the heart of what this course is about. We're going to look at various angles around this issue. We're going to look at biblical and theological traditions, especially as we understand what's the triune God's mission in the world, and how does that help shape us as Christian communities to think of our identity missionally, and how does that then inform our leadership? This course is a signature course for all of our curriculum that helps kind of give you as students an insight into how we understand a framework for leading today in Christian communities, not only congregations, but in nonprofits and other kinds of places where we believe that we're joining in what God is already doing among us. So we're excited about this course, and we really want to dig down with you to help us understand what we think about that theologically, theoretically, and also using some sociological tools. So we're going to actually help you work and interpret a particular community and the people in that community to think, what is it that how do they understand themselves, and what might God be up to in that context, in that place, and what kind of imagination can we do in joining them? What kind of practices and habits and skills does it take to faithfully and imaginatively and innovatively lead in that context? So that's kind of a description of the course. There are 4 outcomes that we will be working on here. First of all, by the end of this course, we want you to be able to articulate a biblical and theological understanding of God's triune mission. We understand that who God is informs what we are as Christian communities, and that in turn has significant influence in what does it mean to lead such communities. And so we want you to think about that, not only in terms of what does it mean for the church to be the church to itself, but also as the church and local context engage with their neighbors and the world around them. So that's the first thing, to articulate biblically and theologically your understanding of God's mission. Then we want you to think about, in light of this post-Christendom environment, a time when the church is no longer in the center, but it has varying places of power and influence within society, what does it mean to critically engage the realities around us? There are all kinds of issues that Christian communities specifically and in general are dealing with. And so some of those things we've inherited from traditions that have woven together cultural understandings of church as well as denominational and theological understandings. Some of it is things that have just become habits and ways of doing things. And so what does it mean to critically engage and think about who we have been in light of what God is calling us to in the future? Third, we want you to interpret actual communities in their context. So you will each be asked to identify a congregation or a Christian community that you're going to walk alongside and think about in light of the assignments in this course. You're going to use a theological lens. You're going to use some sociological understandings and frames to actually wonder, what is God up to, and what might their history and what might their financial and what are their demographics, how might that help us think about this community in light of the actual challenges that they're facing. And fourth, we're going to help you learn some concrete skills and practices for as you lead in the future and as you form Christian communities in mission. So this course has a long history in our curriculum, and we're excited for you to engage with us. There are 2 required textbooks in this, Leadership on the Line and The Open Secret. One is an organizational leadership understanding of adaptive and technical challenges that we face, and the second is an understanding of what is it for congregations to be hermeneutics of the gospel. And so we think it's a missional understanding of using a theological understanding to think about congregations and communities. There are a whole bunch of e-reserves. All of these are on that site. In Moodle, you click on the e-reserves and it'll take you to a link in the library website that will have all of these there for you to look at. So check those out. Those later on in the schedule will be laid out. The next piece is a schedule of what each week looks like. This part right here, I just walked you through in the last video, week 1. Please, again, make sure your paper is posted by the morning of the 11th of September and respond by Tuesday the 12th to other people's understanding of the state of the church and what does it mean to be in the new apostolic age. But if you look down, our first face-to-face class will be on the 18th. You'll see there the readings that are due for that week, the dwelling in the word text that we're going to do, the presentation topic that I will cover, and then any assignments that you have. So for week 2, let me just highlight, the assignment here is to have an idea already by week 2 of the community that you're going to study. Because by the next week, as you see on here, the 25th, you already have to have permission to use that site with the person there and a 50-word description of why you've chosen that site. And that needs to be posted in Moodle. So please come. We can talk about it in the breaks. We can have conversation about what you want to study. And here's the things to help you think about. The place you want to study is a place that maybe you have some familiarity with that context. Maybe it's a CPL site, Christian Public Leader context site that you're working in. Maybe it's something that you don't know anything about, but you're curious. Maybe you're thinking long-term, I want to work at a nonprofit, so you want to study that. Or maybe it's a different type of congregation than you have done before and you want to study that. So think about what you want to study and then what you have access to, because you're going to have to do some interviews with people within the organization and outside of the organization. So you have to be able to get there or to have flexibility within that community to talk with people. So that's the assignment section. Then you can go through, you'll see each of these. Mostly after that, the assignments are basically when you post your project. The 3 parts of the projects are part 1, 2, and 3. So part 1 is due October 16th. You keep going down in November 13th is when part 2 is due. And at the end of the course, on the 15th is when the 3rd part is due. Please post those in Moodle and put those in a PDF format. The instructions are in Moodle and we can go from there. So let me just say a little bit more now about the course assignments. One of the things about this course is this is not something that you can just read in the library or read in your room and then write papers on. This is actually getting you to engage and to think through leading, joining, accompanying a congregation or a nonprofit or other kind of ministry organization for the sake of asking, what does it mean to form and lead Christian community in this time and place? That's at the heart of what this is about. It's a main intersection between sociological understandings of reading communities, leadership theory, that we're going to talk about, and theological understanding of what God's mission is and what that calls us to be about as a church. What does that mean about understanding of church, and what does that mean about our understanding of leadership? So that's the heart of what this is. The cumulative project is this 3-part paper, 3 different pieces that will go over the course of the term. The first part of that is to look internally at the community. The second is to look externally at the community. And the third is to interpret it theologically. What might this mean? And when we get to the course project video, I'll say more about each of those parts. And it's very laid out what those project entails. So again, here is the place where all of the deadlines are due. So there's 2 places you can look in the week-to-week schedule, or you can look here in the summary. 25% of your grade is each one of those 3 papers. The other 25% of your grade comes from showing up. honestly, even in grad school, showing up matters. And so you're participating each week in the face-to-face class. It matters. If you are there, you get points. And so I ask you to come not only physically, but to come having read the week's assignments and come ready to discuss it. I'm not a lecturer. I'm not going to reiterate what's in the text. What I want to do when we're together is engage it and process it together. That's the joy of being together. If you cannot be at a class, I ask you to, first of all, let me know ahead of time. A, if it's a planned thing, you're going to know it. B, if you're not feeling well, email me before that, and I will get back to you. That helps me understand where you are and what's going on. If you want credit for that course, for being there for that time, if you write a one-page reflection on the reading, you won't be docked points for that. That doesn't have to happen prior to that Monday, but it has to happen in a short amount of time. So again, 25% of your grade is by participating and showing up. So that's the course. 3 papers, participation, okay? If you have any questions about the syllabus, please, please, please email me, ask me questions. The next video, part 3, is going to walk in depth to the parts of the project that I'm going to go through all 3 parts. Obviously, the part 3, it feels a long way away now, but I'm going to walk through that, and you might want to view that more than once. But with that, I hope that you're excited for this. One of the things I love about this course is this actually gives you an excuse, gives you accompaniment, gives you conversation partners with me and with your colleagues in class to actually think about, if I was leading this community and these were the challenges and these are the things that I was doing, what would that be like? And so hopefully you will see this as an opportunity to accompany a congregation or a nonprofit during a particular time, but also a sense of putting yourself in those shoes. If this was me, what would that be like? I hope that the way that we craft this class is conversational. I hope you come and there's no dumb questions, but you're saying, I'm wondering about this, that as we're together, we get to process this, this work. With that, end of video 2. I'll see you in video 3.